Rewind to 1934. The Federal Communications Commission was formed and deemed in charge of regulating over-wire communications. In 1996, when the internet as we know it was in its early stages, US Congress passed the Telecommunications Act. It basically stated that the government wasn't going to get involved in regulating the internet. In fact, they weren't even going to define what the internet was. Quickly, lawsuit after lawsuit against internet service providers started adding up across the US. The law, being as unclear as it was, made it extremely difficult for a judge to set any sort of precedent. Pressure was put on Washington to do something about it, and in 1998, the FCC decided to step in. And like many government dealings, it took some time before anything actually happened. In 2002, the FCC introduced the Cable Modem Order. This clarified a number of previous ambiguities and implemented light regulations. 2005 rolls around, and after thinking about it a bit longer, the FCC releases the Fair Internet Policy Statement. This 3-page document said that the FCC could regulate ISPs under a certain part of the law called Title I. Titles are different parts of the law that telecommunications can be regulated under. A Title II classification alternatively would have given the government significantly more power to regulate. Things that are considered essential to the public good, like rail lines, for example, would be under this category. Within this 2005 policy, the government also set rules for how ISPs could run their business. These laws were essentially enforcing the skeleton of what we now regard as net neutrality. In 2007, the ISP Comcast was sued because they were directly violating the laws set out 2 years earlier. How were they doing this? The company was slowing down access to applications that competed with other services under their umbrella. The FCC determined that they were in violation of the 2005 policy, and in 2010, Comcast settled this class action lawsuit for $16 million and stopped throttling their service. However, Comcast would go on to sue the FCC, saying that they did not have authority to regulate Title I classifications like ISPs. The courts agreed that the 3-page Fair Internet Policy from 2005 had not provided enough reasoning for the FCC to have regulatory control over ISPs. Comcast won the lawsuit. This loss prompted the FCC to release a significantly more detailed policy, the Open Internet Order, which outlines the rules of net neutrality as we know them today. Verizon, another ISP, sued the FCC, claiming that these rules were unenforceable. ISPs being classified as Title I meant that the FCC had no control over them. The legal battle raged on until 2014, and the courts sided with Verizon. Fast forward 1 year, and the FCC introduces the Net Neutrality Order, which now classified ISPs as Title II, which meant they were subject to net neutrality regulations. This stood up in court, and wouldn't it be great if this was the end of the story? But on December 14th of 2017, the FCC repealed the rules classifying ISPs as Title II. It's expected that this will be taken to court based on the idea that the repeal was unlawful. And that there is an abbreviated look at how we got to where we are today. If you want to learn more about it, I'll link you to some resources down in the description.